Hello and welcome to A Coincidental Life. This is part of my series of little things that I've learned over the years. Now this one today is about recovery time. Like recovery after an accident, after an illness, after a relationship, after any kind of trauma. This is what I've noticed over the years, how long it takes. If you go for a healing session, whatever it might be, physiotherapy, anything. What I've noticed is this: the shock, the processing, if you like, doesn't actually come out the next day. There's a 2-day, I don't know what to call it, I don't know what the words are, I haven't done a thesis on it or written a book on it, but it takes 2 days. So for example, if you go for some healing, acupuncture, whatever, after 2 days you'll start noticing some effects. The next day you possibly won't notice anything. Like if someone leaves you, for example, I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, let's hope it's for the good, then the first day is spent in shock or numb disbelief, and then it might hit you the day after properly. So it's like a 2-day effect. Then for bigger stuff like the end of relationships, or finding out you've got a serious illness, or I don't know, death of a partner, anything, I've noticed that the first 3 months, obviously the immediate few weeks are quite bad, where all the shock and everything sinks in, and well, not sink in, but everything comes out, and all the things you remember, and you go through, like, say for example, if your partner dies, you go through all the stuff of what happened, things you went through, you go to say stuff to them, there's all that. The first 3 months seem to be the worst, when there's a lot of crying, a lot of emotion coming out. And then after the 3 months, there's a little bit of a break where you periodically might get stuff come up. You might remember stuff, you might bump into old friends, mutual friends, or bump into their exes, or anything, and get a little blast of stuff being triggered. And then the next wave, serious wave of stuff, comes for about 6 months, and then you'll get something quite big. Like for example, after a relationship splits up, you then don't see anyone on your ex-partner's side, and then 6 months in, you might bump into their mother, for example, which would trigger off some stuff. So you get this 6 months thing, and then it sort of seems to be fine-ish, up and down, little bits, until about a year. And then the year anniversary seems to bring up a whole load of stuff again. And then it's, for the next year, it's all pretty, not plain sailing, but it can be sort of up and slightly up and down, nothing to write home about. Until 2 years, and then you get another blast of stuff at about 2 years. And after that, it seems most things are released. You'll get little bits come up here and there, but I've found that 2 years after a relationship's finished, for example, you can 2 years later, you're feeling back to yourself again, or you're ready to go on, or you're feeling stronger, or you've reclaimed bits of yourself, or anything like that. But what many people tend to do, I know I'm sticking to relationships, but this works with healing as well, and all kinds of stuff. What a lot of people tend to do is they don't wait the 2 years before getting involved with someone else. So what happens is, you've started a new relationship, but you haven't completely processed through the 2 years of stuff, unless you're totally honest with this other person, which I highly recommend. And if they haven't got any understanding of it, then There's not a lot you can do. It's doomed. So I'd recommend you get out of that one. So a lot of people, they go from one relationship to another, so they don't actually process the last one. You know, I mean, you might say, yeah, that's obviously their stuff that they're dealing with, that's their thing that they've got to learn, and yeah, it is, but you know, it still affects the other people, the people they're getting involved with. So yeah, so you see, there you go, that's basically it. So if you're having undergone anything that's emotionally affecting, then you've got the, you know, first few weeks, say month, then the 3-month effect, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and then you should be relatively free and can build. I hope you find that useful or comforting and comforting. And don't forget to tune in next time. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.